Max leveling any plant in Plants vs Zombies 2 can be a difficult task, but I did it with the Fire P. So we can see if you can fully solo Plants vs Zombies 2 only using the Fire P shooter. Okay, so there's going to be a very few amount of rules in this playthrough. Number one being we can only use the maxed out level 200 mastered version of the Fire P shooter. And two, I guess we can't use any other plasma sun producers, especially to make even more Fire P shooters, which we're not going to need because when they're maxed out, they're really maxed out. So let's just get straight to it. And also shout out to Perpetual Prince, my goat. Keep doing your thing. Okay, let's get to it. And this is the movie version of this series. So after both the Fire and Ice up to World 6 plays, you will be able to watch the continuation where we can use both the Fire and Ice Pea shooters both together to continue on this series. Okay, so here's the Fire Pea shooter. Shows up including the tile camel zombie. We absolutely blazed our way through the first couple of worlds, which is actually quite insane. And you can just see the way that we just kind of sped run this level without speed running this game. We do have it on 2x speed, which if you play Plants vs Zombies 2 and you don't have it on 2x speed, you're a weirdo. I'm sorry. Just like that, we literally went through all of Ancient Egypt Day 7 in about a minute 45 seconds, which is absolutely insane. Day 9. Day 9 was a day where I obviously started out to really see how overpowered a maxed out plant really is. And I'm going to show you the stats that the Fire P shooter just had. Like just take a look for yourself. So it had a toughness of 900, it had a sun cost of 125 and a damage of 240. Just to put it into perspective, that's a quarter of a walnut, which is absolutely insane for any offensive plant. And it just really shows how this is going to be throughout. And there's not too much to speak about in Ancient Egypt, so we're kind of going to have to skip through some of the levels. I know I want to show you all them, but there's really nothing for me to commentate and nothing really spectacular for you to see, because you can just see the way that the Fire Peas are destroying every zombie that shows up on the screen. So let's move on to the next day. Here's a bit of day 10, nothing really to say. Same with day 16, there really wasn't much to say about these Ancient Egypt levels. It's a level 200 Fire Pea shooter. It's going to destroy its way. A day that actually was useful was day 20. Guess what? Because there was 4 sunflowers that were mandatory as they were endangered plants and we had to beat the level. So this just meant that we could put down so many Fire Pea shooters, which was just fun to see, and it just absolutely violated anything that came out, and it really just sets the waves to trigger a lot quicker than it normally would. I do know it is considered a tutorial level, especially since they removed a lot of the unique features that Ancient Egypt did have, like the matching tiles game. If you know that, let me know in the comments, because that was a classic. That was a hood classic, really. Yeah. On day 20, yeah, you can see in the few moments that it has been going, we're nearly done day 20, and this is not even sped up. This is just normal game pace. We literally obliterated our way through. And let's push us on to the next day, which is going to be the boss battle. Man, the game's gone. The game is gone. You know why? Because we can't use the Fire Pea shooter during the boss wave, just because we didn't get it in the conveyor level. And there's going to be a lot of levels later on in the worlds that we're just not going to be able to physically use the Fire Pea shooter, and we're just going to skip over them because there's nothing we can do about it. So up next, we have the Pirate Seas. I did think there would be a couple of challenges in this world, being some of the barrel rolling zombies and the imp cannon, which actually went a bit different to how I expect them to go. We'll get to that when we get to those days. But day 1 was a day 1. It's obviously the easiest level in every single one of the worlds, and our level 200 Fire Pea shooter really showed us what a level 200 Fire Pea shooter does, and eliminate every zombie on screen with a single blow, which was insane. You could just see the way it was one shot in the cone heads. Day 2 to 6 were really quite a breeze. You can already see even day 7 was a really easy level 2, and with the level 200 there's actually a percentage that when you place down the Fire Pea, it might use a special ability for free, which is actually really nice and really came in handy in Frostbite Caves. But for right now, we're not really worrying about that. I'm going to deal with the cone head, which you can see is instantly killed once we have the Fire Pea shoot at the cone head. And the seagull zombie could become a problem if it wasn't for the sun drop, even such few amounts of sun. But eventually, once we had all of the Fire Pea shooters in the first row to just shoot at all the zombies, it actually became a breeze. And as you can see, the barrel zombie wasn't really a problem. It did take 2 shots instead of 1 shot to kill them, and then the imps obviously took 1 shot. And then we finally had a final Fire P at the bottom lane just to deal with all the zombies that came out, and we absolutely destroyed day 7. Really easy. A lot of these levels were just easy going through, so we're just going to push on to a level that came a bit more challenging, and that day was day 9. And day 9 was actually the first level that we lost a lot more, and this because the sunfall wasn't giving us enough sun to place down the fire piece in enough time. It wasn't the fire piece just not being able strong enough, because trust me, they're strong enough to deal with any opponent, and you will see that. And once we put down the final Peashooter, yeah, it was a blaze, and we could just move on because the fire Peashooter just makes it easy in, so we can move on. Day 17 is a day that I thought could be a bit more challenging. It's because we had a gimmick where we had to kill a certain amount of zombies in a certain amount of time. And I thought because the way that the fire Peashooter instantly kills so much zombies at once that we might not be able to, because the time that it would take the zombies to come out of the screen, they will already be dead. But I was proven that that was wrong. I don't know why I was worried about that. And this is also a part where the imp cannons came out, and I thought they might be a bit of a problem, especially when they're about to do, they just explode loads, and it might be a bit overwhelming for the fire P because they can't hit multiple targets. They can just eliminate one at a time, and their reload time is quite long. But as you can see, yeah, it just one-shotted the whole thing, so my problems were quickly reassured. And with a huge wave approaching, you could just see the way that the fire piece just instantly eliminated every single zombie on screen in about 10 seconds. It was absolutely insane, and it's actually kind of fun just being able to destroy levels that you once struggled with. Day 24 is yet another level that I thought would be an issue with this. We're not going to do day 25 because once again, we will not be provided the fire Peashooter to beat the level, so there's no point even going over it. And the reason I thought this might be a struggle is because the endangered plants, they're really close to where the seagulls and also where the pyro zombies will come out. And if they're used and they quickly come out because the fire P kills so much zombies, it sets off the next wave of zombies to come out so quick that the broad bean could potentially use its ability and then fall asleep, and then we could be cooked. That's why I was worried about, but I was quickly reassured that that would not be a problem because the fire Peashooter is absolutely insane. All we just needed is 5 of them to be put down in the back lane, 1 in each row, and we have no more problems. And we see that I had just about done it because the seagull zombie makes the bean plant go down and there's no problem, and it can be saved for any of the pirate zombies that make their way. And right here is where I thought we could be in a bit of trouble from the pirate zombie, but the lawnmower quickly saved our lives, which was a very close call, and making us not lose any of our playthrough goodness. Just like that, piracies had been beaten. Moving on to the Wild West. Welcome to the Wild West, and this is where we actually get introduced to some of the coolest gimmicks in the whole of Plants vs Zombies 2 of all the worlds. And this is going to be the minecart, which actually just made this very, very easy because we can place them 2 fire Ps and hit every single lane because the minecarts can be moved between lanes, and it really just made it a lot easier and actually quite a lot funner for me to play. And you can just see that the way they're just one-shotting every single zombie that comes on screen. Cone heads, bucket heads, every single one is getting 2-shot, 1-shot, and there was no time. And in just a small 30 seconds that it took me to speak describing this world, we have already basically finished the level, and that really just shows you the power that these fire Peashooters just have at this level. And if you can, you should try to max it out for yourself. So let's move on to the next day. Day 3 kind of had the same situation, had minecarts just about in the same thing, it's just they overlapped in lane 3, which made it a bit powerful. Maybe if you want to take a book ahead in half a second more, just because that, but there's not really to describe here. You had a piano zombie that switched zombies lanes, but he was quickly destroyed, pushing us on to the next day. Day 5 kind of had the same type of situation. I had a minecart that hit every single lane, and it was just absolutely a destruction from the fire Peashooter, just absolutely demolishing every single zombie that came into screen. So let's just move on to a day that got a bit interesting, and that's going to be one of the later levels. Before we put it there, just look at this plan your defense level. It was absolutely insane. We finished the level in literally 15 seconds. It was that insane. These fire Peashooters, they're insane. Okay, now moving off to our first loss of our world, and that's going to be day 10, which it was really over the chicken zombies that spawned in, and they did cause a bit of trouble in the Wild West. That's just because the fire Peashooter can't hit multiple targets at once. It just hits one at a time, and the rate that the chicken zombies do come out on is quite annoying, and it was kind of difficult to deal with at the start. But once we got a good run going in and we used some of the plant foods to deal with all of them, because the toughness of the fire Peashooter was buffed up to a high amount, which made it a quarter of a walnut, like I said at the start of the video. And it did make it quite annoying, especially in later levels when there was just a wave of chicken zombies. But day 10 was our first level that we lost in this run through, and it's just going to be the first introduction to the difficulty that the later worlds are going to show us. Day 14 was quite a cool level as well. We had a lot of minecarts that would just hit all lanes, so we didn't have to spend too much, but I did want to go for a symmetrical pattern like I always do, and we're going to have fire peas on the first, third, and the fifth lane, and then one on the minecart that hits every single lane, so we can just move it to those 2 spots until we can put them up. And overall, it was quite difficult over the chicken zombies. That's the only reason that got us at any point in this whole world. It's going to be the stupid chickens that annoyed us, but nothing can beat the fire pea shooter special ability that we just spammed to kill them, and eventually it got to a point where the lawnmowers had to save us. So yeah, it's that you could start to see the flaws in the fire pea shooter finally after 3 whole worlds and getting this deep in. But we did beat level 14 on this run, so yeah, we can move on. Day 21 wasn't much of anything special. It just had a unique gimmick where the zombies could not pass a certain point on the lawn, but we quickly eliminated them because there was no chickens here, thankfully. A couple of zombies, they get close, but none too crazy. Same with day 23, do not trample the flowers, and day 24 kind of had the same faith, and day 25 you couldn't even beat because we weren't given fire plants. So now that we have basically the first starter levels done, starter worlds done, the one that introduced you to Plants vs. Zombies 2, let's move on to the Frostbite Caves. The Frostbite Caves started out as quite a nice level with some new gimmicks with tiles, as you can see, the hand pointing in the direction that the zombies will switch paths to, and the fire pea shooter directly opposed the theme of the Frostbite Caves being the ice and contrasted with the fire, so we didn't have to worry about our plants freezing, and it also heated up plants around it, which we weren't allowed to use. But for the ones that were there, I did use them because why not, but I did end up selling a lot of them because it just gave me back sun. Day 1 I did forget to pick up the walnut, but I didn't make that mistake again, and it is a day 1, so we would have played shoot anyway. It doesn't really make a big difference because it's a day 1, like I said. But day 2 was actually quite a nice day. We actually had a lot of sun coming from the picking up all the plants that we did lose, and then the fire pea shooter did this thing. We are going through it a bit faster pace than we normally would. I did split up the gameplay because I want to go through a bit more days in Frostbite Caves, so you can actually see what it's like to play the game with the max level 200 fire pea shooters. And I just want to show you as much days as I can, just at a faster pace, because we absolutely destroyed this world going through it just at normal pace. So imagine this with a max level fire pea shooter and also sped up. So it was basically like a speed run. It was going absolutely insane. I really enjoyed playing this world. It's actually my funnest time playing this game, because it was just like I had the game in sandbox mode and I was just flying through the levels. So yeah, day 6 up next. Too crazy in day 6 either. We kind of just had some sunflowers that did spawn, and I couldn't remove them quick enough, but I did my quickest I could. I picked up the sun they dropped, because why the hell not? And we put down our 5 mandatory fire peas in all the lanes just so we can attack all the lanes. But I didn't have to rush too quick to get all of them down, because we only needed 3 in the middle lane because the tile switcher thing do it. And just in that short amount of time I had spoken, that was the level done. And day 13 was also a really important day where I can actually show you the true strength of the max level fire pea shooter, and that's going to be it against the Gargantua. And normally a Gargantua is a tank. It's the mini big boss of the worlds, and you should know from all the PvZ games, and typically it would take a lot more than 4 shots to beat, but with the max level it took exactly 4 shots. And yeah, you can just see for yourself, it was absolutely insane seeing a Gargantua just be destroyed as quick as it was. But anyways, day 15, kind of the same story. We kind of just destroyed it. You already know how it's going. Frostbite Caves pose no threat to the max level fire pea shooter. It's absolutely insane. We will be doing some other ones. We've got this far, Electric Peashooters and Ice Peashooter, so a sneak peek into the future. But it's basically the same story. You just keep trying to put down the fire pea shooters in all lanes, and then you let them do their job, destroy them. We did get introduced to the ice head zombie that actually took 3 shots from the fire pea shooter to die fully, but yeah, 3 shots is basically nothing. So we had a quick time getting through day 15. Day 17, we started off with all the fire pea shooters down due to the high amount of sun falling, and we were introduced to the ice pushing zombie, which wasn't really a problem. Normally it would be. He'd get quite deep, pushing the zombie into the deep ends of the lawn, but yeah, it's a max level pea shooter. There's only so much they can do. Okay, now we have day 23, which was actually quite a unique level where we had 5 endangered plants, but the zombies during the snowstorm kept spawning on top of them. So I did think, hey, we're set up to fail, but we are actually quite fine. And we had the chickens from like the Wild West come back from via authors, or I don't even know what animal that is. But yeah, they came back, but they actually weren't as bad as the chickens were in the Wild West. So maybe I just got better at the game. I don't know. Probably the second option. And day 27, the same kind of thing, but we did get to see a lot more gargantuars, and we had help from these endangered plants that had more of a diagonal shooting range, which I couldn't really see myself using in a normal playthrough. But we got to a point where we finally got introduced to the gargantuars in the final boss wave in the bottom right. So keep your eyes peeled for right down there. I'll zoom in just so you can see even better. And yeah, it was an absolute destruction of them. I thought they had a better hold up. Nope, they got deleted in about 5 seconds, and we moved on. And day 28 was a plan your own defense. We had 4 rows of maxed out fire pea shooters. So we went through this level in about 20 seconds. It was absolutely tragic for them. And this is actually the first time we got to beat the boss level only using the fire plant. As you can see, I'll just let it play. The amount of damage this done, and we literally got to beat it without him spawning anything. It was the quickest I've ever played through the Frostbite Caves. And yeah, that's the world done, just like that. Okay, now we move on to the Lost City. There's some new gimmicks here, which is going to be the sun tile, which I love to use because it gives you sun for placing down plants on it, and it overall gives you sun just like it. So if you're usually playing the game, you'd put down a sunflower and it give you double the amount of sun that I would play. And the rate that we flew through these early levels especially was insane, so I'm just going to speed them up just to save you some time. But I'm not going to cut through them and skip more days. I want to show you more days, so I'm just going to speed up the overall gameplay so you can watch me kind of just go through at a quicker pace. And our game already went at a quicker pace just because the way that the fire pea shooter instantly killed all the base zombies was insane. There was some trickier zombies that I couldn't deal with at all, so I had to use the lawnmower, or I just lost the level to them. But we'll get to discussing that later on. And we're already on day 4 so far, because day 3 was conveyor level. And here is the first instance of the digger zombie that I could not defeat using the fire pea shooter. So you can already see the problem that the Lost City is going to present to me, and boom, that's one lawnmower already down, and we haven't even touched the first wave. And you can see there's more being sent out, but I did find out that the plant food does to kill them like it normally would, so I just used that to defend them, and just hoping another one wouldn't spawn in the final wave in the middle, and we got through it without losing on our first attempt. And day 6 had a cool sunflower placement that I tried to follow, but it wasn't the greatest setup because it was too close to the zombies, especially when the digger zombies came out. It did push back, like you can see on the 4th row, and they caused a lot of problems. But luckily, when I placed down the fire pea shooter, he used a special ability, like I said earlier on, that when you place down a fire pea shooter at max level 200, that they could potentially just use their plant food ability without you needing to do that. And that, just like that, day 6 was over and done. Day 7, we didn't get as much sun tiles as I'd prefer, but a sun tile is speeding up the process that it would take me to get more fire pea shooters to get down. And there was other ones that could pose a challenge, like the umbrella zombies if I was using cannibal plants, but I was using pea shooters, so it didn't really cause a problem. And day 7 was actually quite fine. We learned how to deal with the digger zombies before they could really deal with us. So after this, I kind of got on with the digger zombies quite okay. They did cause up quite a bit of problems sending out lawnmowers early just to deal with them quicker. But when I had to use the lawnmower, I have to use it overall. But so far, the Lost City has been quite a nice day, and I always aim to put down pea shooters in all of the sun tile plans just so I can maximize the amount of sun that I'm getting from the world, so I can place down more pea shooters to kill even more zombies more quicker. And when I finally got them all down, I could start aiming because the zombies just didn't walk fast enough to get my lawnmower or even make me lose. So just like that, day 10, we absolutely destroyed, especially that middle row. 4 pea shooters on 1 row. Yeah, nobody's getting through except for digger zombies because they're immune to all blood force that's coming from the top, unless it's like above their head, like the ones they want you to use cattle plants. Now moving in a bit deeper, because a lot of days were just filler days, and that's going to be day 20. And as you can see, we kind of got through with ease. Day 23 was also quite a cool level, and as you can see, with my plans to put down as much plants as I could on the sun tile, I had to focus on the middle lane, and then I nearly just violated myself because yeah, you can see that I didn't put down enough plants to deal with all the zombies. So we only lost 1 lawnmower, which I thought I would lose a lot more, but once we finally put down that 3rd one on the middle row, we had enough sun to make sure that we weren't worried. And even the Digger zombies got dealt with, pushing us deeper on to day 24. It wasn't really that much problem. We just put down a couple of fire Peashooters, and the Digger zombie did get quite close, so we had to send out that lot and more. A feature that I didn't know was in the game until I watched like one of those useless facts about it. I was like, oh, didn't know you could do that, never tried it, and it actually came quite useful, so it wasn't a useless fact to have. And right here we had 3 Digger zombies that became quite a problem, but special abilities, and we easily got through day 24. Day 25, we had some pre-selected plants, but it didn't take up all of our bar, so we could still select a fire Peashooter. You know the typical deal, we destroyed it too. Day 29, kind of similar to some of the earlier levels. It just had the sun tiles flipped, so instead of doing an arrow, it was more of like a backwards arrow or inverted V, the same thing, and it was just like the rest of the levels, nothing too crazy. Digger zombies were the only problem in this world. That definitely created a big problem later on. Gargantuas weren't even a problem with the max level fire Peashooter, just does so much damage, it was easy, and we just blazed our way until we got to the boss battle. And sadly, Frostbite Caves is probably the only one that we're going to be able to do, because we actually had given fire Peashooter there, and we couldn't beat Lost City final boss using the fire plants. But yeah, it was quite a cool level. Moving us on to the far future. The far future had quite a few cool gimmicks, and these were the power-up tiles, which, as you can see, is marked by the green X. And when you use one special ability or plant food on one of them, they all get it, which could be really useful. And starting off with day 1, like usual, we actually didn't get as much sun as I would have liked, so it actually got quite kind of scary, because we just didn't have enough sun to deal with the ones coming out at the time. But eventually the sun did fall, so we could deal. And we just sped up the gameplay just so you can see a lot more levels, kind of more usual. Unlike the earlier worlds like Ancient Egypt, Pirate Seas, or even the Wild West, we're going to skip through. I kind of want to speed up the overall gameplay so you can see a lot more. And we got close to missing a whole row, because there was not enough sun to place down to deal with the jetpack zombie, which at times he did turn into a trouble, but he wasn't really the big bad guy of this world. I'm moving on to day 2. Nothing too crazy. We're just introduced to other tiles that have different shapes, different colors, that have the same goal. So when you use a plant food on one of the plants on them, all the other plants on that tile will be able to use their special ability. Very useful for like sunflower if you're using that during your game. But I'm using fire Peashooter, and I didn't really take advantage of them, because basically the fire Peashooter by himself is a special ability. He one-shots everybody, and just like that, we have them all done. And even the big mechs didn't even stand a chance, getting nearly one-shot, which was insane. A lot of the bulk of the inside of the far future was a lot of filler. There wasn't much important things to be seen. There was some cool gimmick levels that I'll get to when we get to them, but even the bot swarms, the mechs, the special zombies of this world, really, to say, just didn't really pose a chance. And right here is like what I said, there was a cool gimmick level where there was purple sun that came down, and when you press it when it's in this purple form, exploded and damaged plants and zombies. But I just used it for extra sun cost, and it was actually really nice having a lot of sun just coming down at once. It was better than most sunflowers in the game, except for the primal one, and we kind of just blew through it, because none too hard. It's a max level 200 fire Peashooter. It does its job, destroying all zombies on screen. Not too much to say about most of the bulk of the far future. Kind of just a filler world, honestly. It's not my favorite world. There's some cool gimmicks like the power-up tiles, but they're not really for me, and there wasn't anything much interesting to say. So let's move on to a day that was fun, and that's going to be day 22, because it's a plan your defense level. And as you can see from the zombies, they can barely even get past the first tile in, because the amount of damage that the fire Peashooter does is absolutely insane. And just like that, the final wave has come and gone, and the whole day has been done in about 30 seconds, which was insane. And then we move on to the next level, 24, that also had the purple sun fall down gimmick level thing, which I just loved, because we had a lot of sun coming into our inventory and our bank, so we could just put down a ton of fire Peashooters. And if it really came to it, which it really wasn't going to come to it, we could explode the falling sun to cause damage to the zombies to help us if needed, but didn't really need to use it too much. And the level went quite quick, because we had so much extra sun, we could have so much extra fire Peashooters that we could place down, and we could really just destroy our way going through all of it. And that was basically day 24, just like that, like a lot of the other days. The level just flew. And day 25 couldn't be beaten. The boss battle, the zombie boss level from Far Future, could not be beat because we didn't have 5 Peashooter coming from the conveyor level, which is quite tragic. But that's it for right now. Before we get into it, here are the stats of the Snow Peashooter, and we're going to start off with the sun cost only being 100, which is crazy, at the mastery level 200, which is already insane, and its damage of 120, a bit less than the fire Peashooter, but also having a toughness of 900, also just about a quarter of a walnut. So you can have a look here of all the stats that we will be working with, and yeah, let's just get straight to it. So if you can pause the video if you want to see the stats, but other than that, let's get actually to it. Going into Ancient Egypt Day 3, we start off by selling some of the pre-planted plants just to see how much damage it's doing. And you can see that it does have a bit of splash damage to slow down the zombies, and it does instantly kill the regular base zombie, which is quite cool, but it doesn't instantly kill the tombstones. And you're going to see that the difference between the Snow Pea and the Fire Pea in this series. So yeah, but the 100 sun cost is absolutely amazing. You get to place down so many so quickly just because it's 2 suns that fall from the sky and you get to put it down. So it's really nice to have, and it just does so much in damage. And each chance, because it's level 200, each chance you plant one, there's a likelihood that it's going to use its plant food ability without using a plant food. So it's just absolutely insane, and you're going to see this through the whole way, all the way up until the movie of when I mix this with the fire one, and it's going to be really fun to do, especially the second part from after the far future. I'm going to play using fire and ice, so that's going to be a really cool video for you. So yeah, something to look forward to. But other than that, we absolutely blazed our way through Ancient Egypt and Pirate Seas, and even the Wild West. So we're going to kind of go through them a bit quicker than we normally would. And from now on, I'm going to put it on 2 XP just so we cannot spend a day going through basic easy levels, because those some more difficult levels that I'd like to slow it down and go through it manually. Now taking to some of the more interesting levels or deeper levels in Ancient Egypt. We're not going to go through them all because it's Ancient Egypt. It's technically the tutorial world. You probably heard me say this before. So we're going to speed up the gameplay so you can see it and just go through some of the more core Ancient Egypt days. And day 7 is the one right now where we absolutely destroy the camel tile zombies, which actually are notoriously quite tough zombies, but you know, the special gimmick of the Ancient Egypt Dakarian camels, which is quite cool. But we absolutely blazed through this level in about 2 minutes. It wasn't a long level at all, especially with the max level 200 Snow Pea. I know a lot of people in the last episode said they thought level 20 was the max. It's not. Level 200 is the max for a lot of characters. Some, I do think the max level is level 20. Don't quote me on that though, but a lot of the plants' actual true max level is level 200. So that's why I just find it insane with the amount of damage and stuff they do. It's just blazes through all the tough zombies. Like as you can see, the Pharaoh zombie gets violated in about 4 shots, which goes so quick. Like day 14, normally one of the more tougher levels, absolutely blazed through it. Now day 23, the day before, we have a conveyor level and a pre-selected plant level that we couldn't beat only using Snow Pea, so we're going to skip it. And actually technically the last level of Ancient Egypt that we can do, because the boss level we do not get a Snow Pea that we can beat the boss with, so we're just going to skip those levels and get onto the Pirate Seas. And as you can see, day 23 really wasn't that hard. Even the Gargantua didn't even stand a chance because we had a special ability used and he just destroyed him and pushing us to the Pirate Seas. Pirate Seas is actually one of the more cooler levels in my personal opinion. There's quite a few cool gimmicks in this, being the swinging zombies and some of the sea things and the imp cannons. There's quite a few things, and just the design of the pirate zombies really just resonate with me, mainly because I'm watching One Piece right now, and I'm a fan of pirates right now, and I've always been a fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean. That has nothing to do with this challenge, but hey, there's a bit of lore about me. It is a day 1, so there's nothing too crazy to come out of this day, but it's nice to just slow down the pace and let you adjust to the new world. And the 200 level Snow Pea absolutely kills. But we did have a couple of close calls in the Pirate Seas just because we didn't have enough sun coming from the sky. But this is not one of those days because the Snow Pea come out and instantly killed the swinging zombie. And after this, the level became a breeze. We absolutely just killed every zombie really quickly. 2 shot in conehead zombies, 3 shot in buckethead zombie, and any just zombie that swung its way to the 5th tile got eliminated really quickly. But day 1 was easy, so we can just move on to day 4. And day 4 was a bit more interesting. There was a lot more freaking zombies coming out and a lot more tougher zombies, like the buckethead zombies finally making an appearance, but it's a level 200 Snow Pea, so there was no problem there. And we had a couple close calls. It's the furthest any zombie has gone so far in this challenge, getting to the 2nd row. That's because the sun wasn't falling fast enough for us to plant down, like I told you earlier. But day 4, just like that, absolutely went. And it was quite annoying sometimes that the last zombie would stay because he froze and we had to wait a little. It was like maybe 5 seconds for him to defrost, and then we can move on. Day 9, yet again another level that was more interesting, a bit more gimmicks to say. There's 3 lanes that just don't have any tiles for the zombies to walk out on, so there would be swinging zombies, and soon enough there would be upside down seagull zombies, which were really fast and did take a couple of lawnmowers, but when we get there, we will get there. Day 9, again, another level that we destroyed because our level 200 Snow Pea made it easy, and I had enough plant food to hit every single lane, so might as well use them up because you don't get to bring them to the next level. I'm going to do a big jump here, a big time skip. I know there was a lot of filler episodes, and I don't want to make this video 40 minutes long, so we're going to go to day 17. The reason that I stopped at day 17 is because there was two things. The first reason was that there was a gimmick where you had to kill a certain amount of zombies in a certain amount of time. I was not worried about that. We had a level 200 Snow Pea. I knew that we were going to kill it. But the imp cannon actually raised some questions because I thought the frequency that the imp is released, it might be quicker than the frequency that we can kill the imps. So it might be like, it might just be a standstill, if you understand what I'm trying to say. But no, absolutely violated them in about one shot, which was insane. And wow, I really just feel the overpoweredness like at any level 200 plant is. So day 23, again, one of the last levels that we can actually just use the Snow Pea because we were given it. Maybe we might change in the future in some boss levels, we'll have to see, but for right now this is the last one before there's a conveyor level and a pre-selected plants. And day 23 absolutely flew because the quicker you kill the zombies, the quicker the zombies come out, and because they're level 200 they kill them really quickly. So let's move on to the Wild West. Whew, welcome to the Wild West, and in this world we have some of the most unique features, and actually my favorite feature of all of the PvZ2 levels, and that's going to be the minecart. So as you can see, you can place down one plant, and because the minecart is in the lanes that it is, let's say for the one on the left side, you can move it to any lane that you want. So you can put down one plant and we can kill as much zombies as we can. We're only using one plant, and with a level 200 Snow Pea, yeah, it went a bit crazy. But day 1 was day 1, nothing too crazy to come out of it, and it was quite fun overall. You know, just feeling out some of the cowboy zombies, and if you like cowboy zombies, I mean, it's pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, it's day 1, very easy. They're level 200, so they went through it in about 30 to 45 seconds because it was insanely overpowered. So let's move to the more interesting levels deeper in. Day 5 had a minecart where you could hit every single lane that was there, which was quite useful, and it gave us time to build up a couple of suns so we could place down plants in the designated lane so they could just hit the zombies there, which was nice. And it did so much damage that, as you can see to the right, it doesn't even let them get 2 tiles deep into it, which was kind of crazy because it is a level 200 plant, which is absolutely insane even getting it there. But yeah, as you can see, Day 10 was a similar situation where there was a minecart that hit every single lane and 2 similar ones in the back. And as you just seen quickly, that these chickens became an absolute menace. We lost a lot of lawnmowers to them. Thankfully, we didn't lose on this playthrough that you're seeing, but we did get really close. But since the Snow Pea is such a tanky plant, has 900 hit points, that it can kind of act as a walnut in this situation because we're only allowed to use it. So we could block out the chickens from hitting those lanes that we already lost the lawn car to move on to the next levels. And day 14, really similar to the other ones that I just shown, that it has a couple of minecarts that hits every single lanes. The chickens did eat through some of our Snow Peas, but we quickly put it back. It's 100 suns, so we can kind of spend quite a lot quickly. But to deal with the chickens, we built up our plant food storage, and we just used them all at once, which worked wondrously. And we quickly moved on to day 21, and day 21 introduced us to the mushrooms on the screen. You can see 4 and 5, the lanes in those numbers, that there was a mushroom down that no plants, zombies, not really plants, but any zombies cannot pass, or chickens, because this became really annoying because it was just some type of gimmick they decided to have. And in day 23 it became really annoying just because in this level they introduced the chicken, which, if like you probably know, that they release once killed, release so much chickens that they make us lose. And it took me 4 attempts to beat this, and I decided on the 4th attempt just to block the chickens with Snow Peas, and it actually worked wondrously because they have 900 hit points. And now we can move on to the Frostbite Caves. Okay, so the Frostbite Caves kind of confused me because I actually never used the ice speed first off in the Frostbite Caves. I do know that any fire plant will irradiate and be immune to the ice effects, and I was like, okay, it's an ice plant, it shouldn't be affected by the ice plants or the ice winds that the world had produced. But I was shown that it wasn't, so it actually became quite a challenging level, and any plant that came through that I destroyed from just a level 200 ice Peashooter like the walnut here. I quickly sold just to try not to use them at all, but I didn't catch every single one, so if you see them just existing on the screen, I probably just missed it and didn't catch it at the time. I didn't mean to do that, but you can see that they quickly freeze up, especially on day 2. Later levels it gets quite bad how quick they freeze up, but for right now you can see the glimpse of the difficulty that was the show, because we had no plants that were allowed to melt these ones, and the Frostbite Caves definitely were the biggest challenge of all the worlds in Plants vs Zombies 2. So after this level we can speed up because there is 30 levels, and this is the world that I want to show you the most levels in. So we're going to speed up the gameplay a bit quicker so you can see day 4 now, and we didn't really have much freezing going on in this world, thankfully, so we could get through it very fast. They weren't as tough as some of the other ones, but the ice head zombie, really tanky zombie for sure, and does pose a challenge later on. But for right now, we quickly made our day through some of the earlier, easier levels, which was that bad. And right here, I don't even know what to call it, the like two-headed pea shooter. I totally forgot to remove him, and I finally caught it towards the end, so that is my bad. But you know, it's a level 1. I don't know what that's called. Repeater, normal twin head pea, whatever he is. He didn't really do much damage because he was just level 1, so yeah, and we absolutely blazed our way through these. It's a level 200 Peashooter. That's really all I have to say. Like, look at the damage he does to these hordes, and it got really close for us losing a lot more for the first time in the Frostbite Caves, but we luckily placed down our maxed out ice Peashooter, and he used a special ability, blazing us way through all that crowd. And I decided to place down the ice Peashooter on the frozen zombie just to get rid of them quickly, and a blaze did come in, freeze them up, not too much, but it was quite cool. And does the ice no I was quickly shown wrong. No, the ice Peashooter does not freeze slower than any other plants. Yeah, I was about to say. Anyways, back to the ice head zombie. Really was the only challenging one here, and also the Gargantua in the Frostbite Caves, because they are really tanky and they throw 4 imps. I don't know if it's the strongest Gargantua in the whole game, but I do know that it's one of the more difficult Gargantuas to deal with in just a regular playthrough, because it throws 4 imps and it's really tanky compared to some of the other ones. So if you do know the answer to that question, let me know in the comments below. I'll be reading them, so just let me know as well. And if you have any things you want to know about this playthrough, let me know in the comments. I'll try my best to respond to you and answer your question as good as I can. And with the Frostbite Caves, you can really just see it was doing its own thing, blazing its way through the gameplay. And our first time encountering a Gargantua, it really was tanky compared to the fire Peashooter. It took 4 shots from a fire Peashooter to kill it, and the ice P took kind of towards 7+ Ps to kill, which was not the worst, but definitely not the best. And day 19 definitely was one of the more challenging levels, where our Peashooters kept getting frozen, and it was quite annoying. But I decided to put them a lane ahead, so because if they were the plants behind them, I would be able to unlock them, and it was a waste of 100 sun, and you couldn't even sell them to get your money back. So in the lanes that 2 of them did froze, it was a waste of 200 sun, but it happens. It's Frostbite Caves, a difficult world that we dealt with quite well. And day 26 is our first day encountering the otters, which were absolutely hectic. They're like spruced up chickens, but faster. So I tried to avoid the second row for as long as I could, but I got to a point where I couldn't avoid them, and we lost another lawnmower because they were set free. And yeah, it was absolutely tragic seeing that my lawnmowers be taken by them, but we luckily could deal with them in the end, and eventually brought us towards the end of the Frostbite Caves, ending our beautiful playthrough at day 27, because there's 30 days in the Frostbite Caves and a couple of other worlds. Well, the later levels just couldn't be beaten, similar to all the other ones. All the boss battles that I can't put in, I'm not going to waste your time watching me beat a regular old conveyor level boss battle. So this is our last actual level, and it went as well as it could have, pushing us on to the next world, the Lost City, which I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I'll explain why, but it was something. Okay, so right here at the Lost City, we were doing really well. There's only a couple of levels that I had to actually technically break the rules. I know I didn't say at the start of this video that we couldn't use power-ups, and it really got to this point because the gold digger zombie, like the top lane, and as you just seen I just used it, was I used the snow ice power-up to defeat him, because like I did in the fire Peashooter video or levels, was that I used a special ability to kill it, so technically we didn't have to break the rules or breach any of the rules, making this challenge valid. But there was no way in this playthrough, ice Peashooters only, that I could kill the gold digger zombies. Maybe I missed something, but the power up didn't hit. No placing too many in the full lane worked, and it really just made it quite hard and frankly near impossible to beat. But if you want to see the whole of the Lost City, even with that rule exempt from this, like me using the power up, let me know in the comments. And if enough of you want to see it, or if even a couple of you are like, yeah, that's fine and it's valid just for this one world, I will put it back into the movie, where I put the fire and ice Peashooter videos together, and I put the last 6 worlds, or the last couple worlds that I missed out in these videos, towards the end of the video, and it will put in as well. It will be fully edited, voiced over, the usual. So just let me know if you want to, or like I'm doing for this video, we can completely skip over and just count as a world that you cannot be only using the maxed out ice Peashooter. Okay, let's move on to the next world, the far future, because we can't beat this world fully, and let me know if you want to go on from this. So welcome to the far future. In this world, we have a couple of unique gimmicks that make this stand out from the rest of the worlds in the game. And in this world, the gimmick of this far future would be the X's on screen, the green ones that you can see, where that when you use one plant food, all of the plants on those lanes get the plant food. And this could be really useful in a normal playthrough using the sunflower, where you just get tons of sun and then you can just play down a ton of plants. But in this playthrough, we're going to use it for all of our snow peas, and when they do get planted with the special ability, not all of them get it because it's not considered a plant food. It's like a spawn special ability, which is kind of fine because it doesn't really matter if it's a level 200 Peashooter, so it's completely fine. That was a nice easy introduction day 1 into the level. So from here we're going to speed up the gameplay, so we're not all there because I want to do a lot more levels than we normally would, because like the Lost City, we didn't get to go through all the worlds. So yeah. And day 2 was quite another easy level, one of the quicker, lighter levels, just to introduce you to some of the mechs that you just saw got one-shotted by the snow pea. Just similar to the fire pea, they're insanely powerful. And the plant food tiles were really useful in using for the outer lanes. And here, day 3, the shape of them was really weird. Would never really put 2 plants like that, but hey, it's what the creators wanted, so that's what they get. And yeah, it was just a kind of a quick day. Day 3 was really just blazed through it, and we were introduced to the bot swarms that didn't really matter at all. There's 25 days in the far future, and we blazed our way through all of them, and it was quite fun going through it and like introducing us to some of the far future zombies and how they would react to the max level 200 snow pea. I'm still in so much disbelief that the max level is level 200 because it's so high, and I don't think anybody really is gonna get their plants up there. So if there's any other plants you want me to do, just let me know. I'll try my hardest to get them max level and then make a video about how they do just soloing the game, or we can play them into sandbox level and see how far they get just by themselves, something like that. If you have any thoughts on if I should do it or not, let me know and I'll try my hardest to get it done. But other than that, it's a max level plan. There's really not a lot to say about it. They were going absolutely crazy. There's a bit of resizing issues, but yeah, didn't have to deal with it that much. There was a couple of cool levels I really love in the far future, and you would recognize them as being the purple sun levels, where the purple sun would fall from the sky, and if you click on them, they explode, damaging both plants and zombies. I think a lot of people a lot of times do forget that the purple sun does affect plants, and they use it and it kills some of their plants, and they're like, hey, a zombie didn't eat it, so where did it go? And it did. But there's a lot of sun in those levels. That's why I really enjoyed them, especially on these challenge videos where I can only use a certain plant, because it gives us so much sun, because we're not allowed to use sunflowers in any of the challenges I do, just to make it that much harder. And it really just creates a nice environment that I like to play in. And after day 12, we're going to do a good time skip, because first of all, the boss battle doesn't have a snow piece, so we won't be able to beat the zombie boss in this world. We did get to beat a lot of the levels, and also because there wasn't a way for us to beat them because we had to produce a certain amount of sun. So we're going to have to do a time skip to one of the later days that I found quite interesting that I should put in, and that's going to be day 23. We're going to spend a certain amount of sun, but kind of bringing us towards the end of this video where that we haven't gone any past far future, just because I'm going to put the 2 videos together, and after this you're going to see a video up probably Sunday, if you want to reach it on release date or whenever you really want to watch it. It should be out. Where I'm going to use both fire and ice for the most challenging big wave beach, modern day, and Jurassic Marsh worlds, just so you can see how they fare against that. And other than that, let's get straight into it. So we begin the next selection with the fire and ice Peashooter into the Dark Ages, and you can already see where the trouble comes from the Dark Ages, being that there is no sun to fall from the sky. It is only night 1, so you can see that there is sun tombstones that will give us 100 sun per tombstone that we break, and we only need 500 minimum sun per level to hit all lanes of zombies. So the ones without Sunfall, we're going after the substitute. There's no other way to beat this, and I tried my hardest, but there was some levels that were impossible to beat without this. And you're gonna see later on, not on day 1, because it's only night 1 really. The difficulty is not that hard. It's just an introduction to the world. That later on, that we're gonna use a single sunshroom, just a single one, as the filler for the sunfall from the sky. And I know some of you will be like, oh, it's 75 sun per drop that the sunstream does do, but we're only using a single one, and also that they are maxed out Peashooters, so like level 200 Peashooters, keep that in mind. They're really cheap, and it doesn't really make a difference that bad. If we have 1 in the lane, there's not a big difference between 1 in the lane and 2 in the lane, because basically nearly all the zombies anyways get instantly hit. But other than that, it went smoothly all the way up to the later levels, so I'm just gonna start skipping some levels that were just too impossible to do, or just were kind of fine to do overall. Like day 3 or night 3 was one of the days where we had no sunfall at all, so we had to put down in the sunshroom. But once we put down the sunshroom, it kind of just picked up from here. I finally decided to use plant food on the sunshroom, just because we were not getting enough sun to put down enough Peashooters to defend against some of these zombies. So I did kind of just speed up the gameplay, just because, you know, I don't want to be here all day on worlds that aren't going to be a challenge to level 200 Peashooters. There's really not that much levels that are trouble to them, but it's just getting it down. And night 5, again, we did have some sun tombstones that really did help out, especially just establishing the first wave. And when you kill a certain amount of tombstones and you wait enough into the level, you do get like a refreshment of sun tombs that we could sacrifice a lane of the lawnmowers, but after this we did get enough sun just to deal with it, so it was actually quite fine after that. And it was actually not really nice having both the sun Peashooter, what? But I actually meant the ice Peashooter and the fire Peashooter. Yeah, sun Peashooter. That would be a really cool one. Every time it shoots, it gives you sun. Somebody make that in a mod, please. Anyways, like I was saying, getting both was actually really handy, because the ice Peashooter being 25 sun cheaper was good for, especially when we started levels, because when we have when we first start levels, we have exactly 100 sun, so we can technically use our ice Peashooter instantly, which is really nice to have. And because the fire imp in later levels, I know a lot of you had a bit of caution, especially when I did the fire Peashooter video only, that once we get to modern day, which we're going to see later on, that we could actually deal with it, because it's immune to all fire attacks, especially the special ability. I know some of you asking questions like, if I use the plant food on the fire Peashooter, will it kill the fire imp? It does not work on him, so that was a nice thing, having the ice Peashooter able to like go against him being immune to fire, so it's really handy. And night 11 was quite a filler day. We can really just skip through it, but I'll leave the first kind of bit of the level play through. We mostly are going to be using ice Peashooters going on, because they're slightly cheaper, unless we have like a sunfallen day, especially like in the Neon Mixtape Tour or Big Wave Beach or even modern day. The fire Peashooter does make a comeback. We still do use both that come out, so we're completely fine. But just in general, because Dark Ages is quite a difficult time, we're going to just be using it for now. On night 16, kind of similar to some of the other levels, we were really struggling just to get down enough Peashooters to deal with it. And then once we did, I just put the Peashooter in the wrong lane, and the zombie up on the top lane decided not to get hit by it, which just was really annoying. I don't know, it does that a couple times just when you place down a Peashooter, especially when the zombie's going through that tile. It just doesn't damage that zombie, which is really annoying. But you know what, there's nothing we can do about it. We did lose a lot of lawnmowers, nearly all of them, but we eventually made a comeback, so it was worth it eventually. But we did have to use a plant food on the sunstream, which I completely keep forgetting about, especially when I was playing through it. I just kept forgetting that I could use the plant food, and I just thought the rules went against it. But then I had to keep reminding myself we didn't say it at the start, so we're fine. And some of you said in the comments that we'd be fine to use the plant food too, so I enabled using it after this, especially using both 200 leveled ice pea shooter and fire pea shooter. It was actually really fun. Just both elements, really cool to see. And the Dark Ages only has 20 nights, and the final level we actually did was able to beat the boss level only using fire pea shooter, but it really just lasted like 3 seconds. Like, it was not really that interesting. But day 19 I actually lost quite a few times. You wouldn't think it would max that level, but it was actually the toughest level through the whole playthrough. So it was actually quite a challenging one, which I was not expecting. I was expecting to fly through it, but nevertheless we went through night 19. Now we can move on to the next world. Okay, y'all can call me whatever you want to call me. You might see on screen right now that the game is going very quick. And that's because I put this stuff on 3 times speed. Because I hate the Neon Mixtape tour. I don't really want to talk about it. I had to go through it because it was mandatory. It is my least favorite world. I'd rather do Ancient Egypt all over again than do Neon Mixtape. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just don't really like the concept of it. Like, I can understand why you'd like it, but me personally, I don't know why. I just don't like it. And we're all entitled to opinions, so don't crucify me for not liking it. But there was really obviously there's some really cool features about it that absolutely were obliterated by level 200 Peashooters, fire and ice. It was kind of just fun going between them and getting the sunfall back again. It was really nice not relying on a sunshroom to carry us the whole way. And there was a lot of times it got really close to the zombies getting through and hitting our lawnmowers. But, you know, if it comes to it, it comes to it. Like, the Gargantua in the Neon Mixtape tour is definitely, as well as the Frostbite Caves, one of the more difficult Gargantuas to go against, for sure, because it hits a sonic boom and it can kill plants in its lane that it's not even at. So they can be really annoying. And the one in Frostbite Caves just throws like 4 imps, which can get really annoying if you're not with a level 200 pea shooter. So yeah, it gets really tough sometimes. But the way we blazed through it, there was some gimmick levels, and we're skipping a lot of gimmick levels, and I'm just kind of speeding up the process of going through because I don't want to make this a 6-hour video. It is already the movie, so it's already basically an hour long. I'm gonna try to get around an hour. So yeah, so we gotta go through it a bit quicker than we normally would. A lot of the later levels did pose a challenge, as because we killed the zombies that first came out so quick that we set waves to happen really quick, and we just didn't have enough sun to put down pea shooters to defend against them. So the ice pea shooter really became my best friend in these levels. But other than that, it was quite overall a 7 out of 10 difficulty, mainly over the sun. But like, that's too high of a rating. It's a level 3, and it's not really like a challenge. It's more just how many pea shooters and how fast can we put them down. So let's move on to the next world. Jurassic Marsh is one of the better worlds in this level, and it's actually quite contrasting that it goes straight after one of my least favorite worlds in the game, which I was really happy about. And there's some really cool gimmicks just in this world, and that's obviously going to be the dinosaurs, which can get quite annoying, especially in a normal run through, especially the like that green and purple one. I do not know the name of that one. Like many things in this game, I do not know the names. I make up my own name. I call him the Frenzy Dinosaur because he just sends every single zombie in that lane to run like 5 million miles an hour. And even in this playthrough with my maxed out pea shooters, it became a problem later on. The earlier days are earlier days. We just ran through it so quickly. Like it's a one-shot kill, so there's really only so much you can do. Its reload time is quicker, it's cheaper. Everything with a maxed out pea shooter is just better, as you can see. It's one-shotting, maybe 2-shotting some characters, and that's the ice pea shooter. The fire pea shooter is a lot stronger, and it's just 25 more sun. So yeah. And the dinosaurs did give like a quick refreshment in the kind of gameplay, just switching up the zombies playstyle, kicking them forward, shooting them everywhere, and just like I said previously with the Frenzy Dinosaur, if you want to call it that one, it just speeds everything up. So it didn't really make a difference with the maxed out pea shooter because they're maxed out. There's only so much you can do, and I really tried this from the when we mixed both challenges, the fire and ice, you know, the elemental showdown. Try to use both in every world, each level in every world that I could, because I really wanted to give you both sides of both of them, because I'm doing a challenge with both of them. Not really a challenge, kind of just a playthrough showing you how to do it, because this is probably one of the easier challenges to do if you want to consider it a challenge. But with that, it was absolutely a blaze doing it. And now kind of the later levels, day 21 and day 28, I'm going to show you these levels, and you can see there was just a lot happening in these levels. But again, we have maxed out pea shooters, so we dealt with them quite well. And with all the dinosaurs finally making their way to the lawn and just attacking us, really just showed the difficulty that they did bring. And you would think that with these maxed out Peashooters, it wouldn't be as difficult, but we did lose a couple of lawnmowers. We did lose a couple of times just because we didn't have enough sun coming out at a fast enough rate to put down Peashooters. Like if we were allowed sunflowers, it wouldn't be, it just wouldn't be nice to see because it'd be too easy. You know what I mean? It'd be fun to play, but too easy to watch. It wouldn't be entertaining. But similar, day 28 was like definitely by far the hardest level in the playthrough so far. Thought it would be a lot easier because the way that we started off, I had 2 fire Peashooters and then it just went south from there. We lost a couple of lawnmowers, but then we dealt with it quite well with a beautiful ice speed just to save us. And the middle lane did eventually go, but after that, it went flyingly. And yeah, another world that we cannot beat because we have 0 Peashooters that come out in the boss battle. So we're gonna move on. The Big Wave Beach, we all know if for being notoriously difficult, but this by far shaped out to be the most challenging level in the whole thing. I might even say up to this point, I thought it was going to be harder than modern day, which is actually crazy. Not because the zombies and stuff like that, just the placement of the water can be really difficult because we cannot put down lily pads. Unless the level really had me placing them down, I didn't allow it. I tried my hardest. I repeat level tens of times just to try put them down. But my method was just to use plant food on the lily pads just to get them in all 5 lanes if it really came to it. And there was a couple of times where I just put Peashooters in a bad position. I put them too deep into the water. Like you can see on the top row, the fire P is way too far out. And then when a big wave of zombies would come out, they would just spawn behind the Peashooter, so we couldn't even damage it. So I just wasted a whole placement of a Peashooter, and I realized that kind of quite early on, so I'm kind of happy about that. And a level like this, as you can see, there's 3 lily pads down, and we just had not enough space for that. But thankfully, we got plant food so we could place down, so we could make it back, and we could sell it, the extra lily pads for sun to make up. And you can see me releasing the lawnmower early just so we can get that lily pad down, so we can have all 5 lanes having some type of defense, which was thankfully really good. And I do know the snorkel zombies did come up on them, but they have about 900 health points, so I knew they weren't going to die just from a couple of bites from them. So we really did with that nicely, and we moved on. And here we had do not paste on the colony of molds, which is kind of weird, you know, they're kind of cool. But I went for on lane 1 ice only, lane 2 fire only, just to really show the contrasting elements in this, and we went swimmingly through it. No pun intended. And yeah, day 9 really came to an end just with that. The snorkel zombies are the only thing keeping it still going because they took their time going through, and the final boss wave was done in about 5 to 10 seconds. Again, the snorkel zombies were the only reason we didn't finish this level earlier, and I didn't really mind because we were already going through these levels insanely quick. You wouldn't understand how quickly we go through these levels just because, first of all, it's sped up in the video you're watching, and when you're doing it, you kill this like the certain zombies so quickly that they just go quick and the level goes really fast. Because in the game's coding, I assume, I'm no computer science guy, but I assume that when the zombies are killed, it pushes the way forward on, as you would think. And this just means that we can get to the first wave with only like 2 Peashooters down. So if, especially the big waves, they're going to send all the zombies out at once in all lanes. So it's really just that battle of getting all the Peashooters down. And once we have them all in all 5 lanes, we're chilling. But just getting to that point is where we normally lose some lawnmowers, and it can be a bit challenging. So yeah, and how you can see me just selling the lily pads just to try to get as much extra sun as we can. They don't really get that much. We only get like, I think it's like 12.5, but you don't get points in this game obviously, so it's probably like 13 sun. Wait, that would make sense. I don't know. Let me know in the comments how much sun you get from picking up a lily pad, because I know it's like 25 sun for them, and you get like half of them back if you have all the upgrades in the game. Yeah, let's just say 13. No, 15. Yeah, 15. Yeah, I think it is 15. Yeah. Of course, the end level of Big Wave Beach was the really difficult levels of these, but we did get through them quite nicely. And day 27 was quite a nice level because we had all of the lily pads down waiting for us just to beat them. So we put down a fire Peashooter in the back and then ice Peashooters in front, kind of just out of symmetrical reasons. There was no like intended reason for that. I just liked them looking nice. And the real zombie normally became a challenge, especially in some of the other challenges that I have done, but in this one they died so quick they didn't even do much. They maybe moved my characters 1 tile, maybe 2 tiles in the whole playthrough, which was crazy. But this being one of the later levels that we could actually be only using these plants only, we're going to move on to modern day. Welcome to modern day. By far the most difficult world in all of Plants vs Zombies 2 we always want to skip day 1 because that's totally filler. That's like a tutorial level in each one. It's so easy. But in these levels, you really see the difficulty in, first of all, just because there's new zombies from modern day, kind of like the OG Plants vs. Zombies there, you know, the typical like regular brown coat zombie. And then it brings elements from other worlds, like like the deeper you go into modern day, the deeper worlds you get. So you can get Big Wave Beach and stuff like that coming out a lot more than day 2 than you'd get in day 15, if you get what I'm trying to go for. But yeah, day 2 went quite well. We just did a full ice Peashooter. I love the modern day. I did go for more of the ice Peashooter, mainly because I totally forgot which days that the fire imp or the dragon imp comes out only. So I was like, you know what, better safe than sorry before I get surprise attacked by one. I don't have enough sun and I just lose a lot more, or forbid I lose the game just because I just didn't mean to. But obviously I still used the fire Peashooter like in day 4, as you can see. And it was just really fun, just destroying hordes of zombies just with the placing it down with the kind of percentage chance of you getting this plant food without placing something down. So it was really cool. And as you can see just there in the lane that I put down the fire Peashooter, dragon imp came out. So it was close call, but we still managed to get through. On day 7, I saw a lot of imps coming out, and imps are just so slightly every faster than a regular zombie, so they really creep up by your llamas really quickly, and it's quite scary. And the top lane, I was so thankfully blessed by the spawning plant food. And the squid zombie, man, he was annoying as hell. I was so happy when I didn't go against him because he just was jarring, making it difficult just for me to do anything. And we did have like a far future kind of reference, you know, the gimmick of putting down the power tiles. You use one plant food, it goes all of them. But I'm not placing any ever. I kind of lied. I did kind of later, kind of foreshadowing. But why would I put my Peashooters on the first tile? They're literally going to be eaten as the zombies spawn in. So I would never do that. But maybe they're like setting you for a spike weed maybe. That would be quite cool there actually. Yeah, that'd be quite good in the normal playthrough. But I never even used spike weed. Maybe I should do a spike weed only. No, it's been done before. Never mind. And after day 10, we have day 11. We kind of went for the ice Peashooter only, just in case, because I'm remembering that I think I was kind of just hoping and guessing that the fire didn't show out. I had no clue on what was happening. I just placed down Peashooters, 5 in the back, and I dealt with the level every single time. Just like that, the whole level has been done. And a little reference back to the Lost City where you put the Peashooters down, and this is what I was kind of foreshadowing earlier on, that when you put down Peashooters really close to the front lines, they're just gonna die, but they didn't because they're basically tanks. And like, what's a really strong character? I don't know. It's like a tank with a minigun on it. Like, it does so much damage and it's just hella strong. I don't think you could ever get level 200 just grinding the game. That's why I have to use my special abilities. And don't worry, I will give you a tutorial. I know a couple people were asking before I do it. I will try to get a tutorial out as quick as I want to. But I'm a little bit of a procrastinator. But yeah, I'll try to get that out as quick as possible for you. We're going to make a big jump from day 21 to day 29. Just because it was taking a bit too long with a lot of filler. Like, you know how modern day goes, and you're probably going to know how it's going to go against especially level 200 Peashooter. Just to keep this a bit more reasonable, I didn't want to go for around an hour. That's why the last half of the video was a bit more speedy, because you kind of already know the gimmick going through it compared to like the starter levels and the intro only using that. But it was really nice going through this. It was actually a really fun challenge to do. Not really a challenge, kind of just a playthrough of using maxed out characters. If you want a specific maxed out character, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to get it done for you. And also checked out Professional Prince. He's a real GOAT. He came up with his original idea, so make sure you if you like the idea, go to him. He was the original creator. And that's really it. There was 3 boss levels that could have been done if we got some Peashooters, but we didn't. So yeah, that's kind of it for now. If you want to see, can you beat Plants vs. Zombies 2 only using fire plants, click the video on the right. If you want to watch the movie, click on the left. I'll see you in the next one.